but it's a nail. I mean, it's a nail. You could hide a nail.
Dude, you could put up Christ with that nail. That thing was huge. Are you kidding me?
Showtime. Welcome to Hey, did you ever see that movie? I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely cellmate, Dylan.
If you think you're hip, you're not. If you were, you wouldn't be in here.
Okay. Tony, welcome to the show with your degree in terror.
Dude, I can't go to prison. That's scary to any horror movie is the idea of me going to prison. No, I'd be gone the first night. I'd be the kid crying in the cell by myself, you know.
I feel you, man. Fucking that guy Tweety was scaring me. I was like, no.
Viking.
I wasn't afraid of Viking. I think even in like if I was like just the normal kid I was at that age, I think I would have taken a bite out of Viking's face. He didn't scare me. He kind of played as a bit of a pussy in this that was kind of like just rolling with Tweety off Tweety's cred. Because like Tweety would have been like, you know, you're my bitch, and I'd have been like reluctantly okay. You know?
Yeah. I'd be holding Tweety's pocket walking through the cell block.
Yeah, no doubt. He'd be eating my fucking dessert. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
Is that a euphemism?
Maybe.
With syrup.
Oh God. Oh shit. Tweety be having cream pie every night.
Oh God.
Okay. That's fucking gross. All right, let's do this.
Not the place for the weird boner. No.
I know. There were no weird boners in my viewing. It's all I know.
No.
Okay. Maybe a little Sheedy boner, but all right. Tonight we will be discussing the 1983 crime drama Bad Boys, written by Richard DeLillo, directed by Rick Rosenthal, starring Sean Penn, Renee Santoni, Clancy Brown, Ali Sheedy, and Isai Morales. As always, this podcast will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, then come back and listen to the podcast. All right, let's do a couple of facts on this one. I just have one, but it's pretty good. So a 19-year-old Matt Dillon desperately wanted to play the part of Mick O'Brien to the point where he had his manager basically just calling every day saying, I want a reading. And Rosenthal was reluctant. He didn't want to cast Dillon. Dillon was the staple. I mean, this Mick O'Brien character was like, this is what he did in that time frame. I mean, you had Rumblefish, you had Tex, you had The Outsiders. I mean, he was just playing this role. You had Over the Edge. He was playing this character over and over and over again and doing it great. So, I mean, it must have really taken a lot of control for Rosenthal not to just put him in as Mick O'Brien.
He has star power name too, so that makes sense. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But he wanted to see Sean Penn, and Penn came in. He read for the role, and the rest is history. He just said, "This is my Mick O'Brien," and I'm really
this
glad.
Fast Times?
It's second. It was after.
Yes,
just after.
Yes, correct.
This was his second big movie.
But the second movie set that he was on where he would only answer to the name of Mick O'Brien for the entire shooting of the movie, he got that tattoo on his arm. It was real. He got it for the movie. That horrible like dog face or whatever it is on his upper arm. That's a real tattoo. Has it to this day. He went all in on this
He
role.
was also going to break all his teeth.
Yes,
but
and his mom was like, no.
Hold on. There's more to that. His mother, who was a dentist, said no. So his mother was like, no, that's not happening. But the fact that it's Sean Penn is what makes this movie play the way it does, and not like movies like Rumblefish, Tex, Over the Edge. Those movies all had a real world feel to them. But still felt a little Hollywood, still felt a little, you could feel the wardrobe choices, you could feel some of the exposition writing. This movie to me had a real world feel, like a real world feel. Like I felt like I was in a detention hall for bad kids in 1982. Every line that came out of their fucking mouths, every expression on their faces, the wardrobe was like, oh, it was money. It was spot on. So I like the choice of casting Mick O'Brien. It all started right there for me. Glenn, do you have any facts on this one?
Well, I had the tooth fact, which I just gave out, but I I have to say I'm a little disappointed that for his name they went with Mick O'Brien.
Oh, it's great. It's great because
could it be Oh Mick Bryan? It's
it's
just
great.
Irish stereotype. Period. You know.
But that's this whole movie. They're doing,
Yeah.
what they did in the Bad News Bears, where you make up a baseball team of all these different ethnic children, and they're nicknaming each other like racial slurs, and they're throwing it around like it's like, hey, brother. And the first thing Horowitz says to him is, "Oh, great, a Mick," and he's like, "Yeah, it's my fucking name, Mick O'Brien." So, yeah, it's fun. It's tongue in cheek, and I really really liked all the choices they made here. You got any facts on this one, Tony?
Not so many facts. I definitely have so many thoughts watching it for the first. Literally, I realized because I went to look for like, oh, I got it on DVD. I'm like, nope, I found my Thorn EMI VHS
Oh
of
Wow.
shit!
this. So I'm like,
Awesome.
wow, all right. So that's literally the last time I watched it is probably like early '90s, and it. I'm not gonna say it held up, but it definitely was. It was different than I remember it being. I remember it being a lot harder. Granted, I watched it a
Oh
lot younger,
no!
and so it scared the hell out of me when I was younger. Now I'm like, there's some scenes and some choices and some dialogue that I'm like, but we'll get to them as we go through it. But
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
I've seen this movie a million times, and honestly, on this watch, it was harder than I thought it was. This felt like it was in that league with like RoboCop, to where it could have almost got an X rating. I mean, like they did not leave anything to the imagination, and the acting was so good by people like Ali Sheedy in certain scenes, and that small African American kid with the look of desperation. I mean, the acting was phenomenal from these kids, and the writing was dangerous, ultra edgy, and tackling subject matter that like you're rarely going to see. And this is pretty much like this one is, like I said, it's in a genre of movies that we got quite a few of right around this time. And this is the king of the mountain of all of them. It dared go places that movies, even like Over the Edge with Matt Dillon, just did not dare to go. I mean, he swang for the fences on this one.
Well, what's funny too is that it's very aggressive in that way, right? Of course, we'll get into all the different things that happen that make you feel that way. But then there's also this weird sensation of watching an after school special, like
Yeah.
like you get that flavor, especially at the end, like when those credits are just like popping up and they're still like putting everybody back in their
milling
cells.
around, yeah.
Yeah.
This is so after school special, but it's so aggressive and so violent in places that no after school special would have ever done that. But
And so
And
effective as an after school special, not like the one where it's like, this is Rob and Jerry and they just smoked a joint and you're like, wow, it looks like they're having a great time. Don't be like Rob and Jerry. No, I want to be just like Rob and Jerry. No, this was, I do not want to go to little kid jail.
see, and I felt, all right. I'm not. I hate pulling cards like this, but it's like I worked in DSS, I worked in DYS. There was so much fucking wrong in how the adults allowed way too much to go on. Now we'll get to these things, but there was too much freedom and a lockdown for the quote worst kids. These are murderers. These are rapists. Then why are you allowing them to walk free through the showers, through the shop? No one's watching. You're reading a book. Go fuck yourself. You are letting this happen story wise.
Oh yeah,
It wasn't. It was. I wanted. If I remember being scared because I was a kid. I'm like, oh my god, if I ever go to this place, this is going to happen to me. No, because that's not the. It is the real life in the sense that they don't care, and there's schoolyard quote yard justice is going to happen. But at the same time, this was a little too easy. There was too much for storyline advancement. There was too much adult relaxation
See,
in a situation like this.
I felt like this was a janky fucking kids detention hall. These guys didn't give a fuck. And actually, there's suggestions in this in scenes that these adults were actually enjoying this violence that was going on and watching it like a fishbowl. You know, like when Tweety and Viking go into Mick's room, the fucking the supervisor is as interested in everybody else and gives a smile. I want to see what's going to happen here.
Well, again, yeah, because Tweety and Viking, again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But Tweety and Viking, as they said, those what was it? They're in charge of the
barn
chores,
boss.
Yeah.
the barn bosses. Thank you. So the barn bosses, if they do a good job, they keep everybody in line, which they were doing through fear and intimidation.
Of course.
They get time off their sentence, blah, 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 blah. So they were keeping everyone else in line, so he didn't have to. So
Right.
new guy, Mick, they're going to see how he's going to react. Is he going to react well? Is he going to react badly? And as soon as they realize it backfired, that's when everybody jumped out.
Right.
Now, I get that kind of thing. But if you're working in a shop, if you're working outside, quote, the agriculture, and you're around steel rods that you can obviously take and make a shank of, why is there no searching coming in?
Yeah,
Why is there no frisking?
This is the 80s in a kid's detention hall. This isn't prison. These guys are half-assed. They're not good at their jobs. They don't care. They probably make nothing. These kids are
they made it. The two that we saw did make it seem like they do care.
Yeah, a little bit.
The two main guys. So that, again, that's why it's like it bothered me how some parts were really realistic and some parts they allowed to fall by the wayside just for story advancement.
Yeah, and you remember, I went to that school for 1 year. That Reach school that I went to, that my podcast co-host on Breaking Vinyl, his older brother went to the same school in the same town. And, we're talking 10 kids, and it's not what we're seeing in Bad Boys, but it's similar. Like, you're not locked up there at night, but it's where they send the bad kids. And there was violence. And I've told you stories where I had my pants torn off, and the teacher, if you want to call him a teacher, he didn't teach us anything. He just lifted weights and smoked cigarettes all day. But, he'd watch him do it and then kick me out of the car and made me run home with my underwear on in the snow. These kids broke into my home, shook me down for the keys, stole from me. If you tell your parents, we'll kill you. I mean, did this school, for me, being in a situation with adults that are supposed to be, handling the monsters and keeping everybody safe, they weren't. And there was violence, and there was bullying, and there was craziness. And this is just on a very small scale in a very small local alternative place that I went.
So we made it 13 minutes into the podcast before we hit therapy time.
Therapy came out.
Okay. Let's do this. The Fast Five. Okay.
All right,
Tony, Fast Five is going to be fun today. So for Fast Five,
prison sex, great.
No. This is going to be called "Which Can of Soda Hits Harder?" Okay.
I see what you did there. That was good.
Thank you. Okay, so number 1, Coke or Royal Crown RC? Which cola hits harder, Tony?
Well, obviously Royal Crown hits harder. But I'm a Coke fan.
It was Yummy Soda. Even though it came out of a RC cola machine, it was Yummy Soda.
They wouldn't allow the rights to happen. I know.
They wouldn't. But they got the machine, which was weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we don't want to see anybody being skinned with our can of soda. Dylan, Coke or RC?
I gotta go Coke on that.
Okay. Number 2, Orange Crush or Grape Crush? Tony?
Grape Crush.
And Dylan?
No, grape.
Grape is too sweet. Orange Crush is the correct answer. Okay. Number 3, Dr. Pepper or A&W Root Beer? Tony?
Oh, Dr. Pepper, without a doubt.
Dylan?
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, the Dr. Pepper all day long.
I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper.
Wouldn't you like
pepper too?
Hey, drink Dr. Pepper. Number 4, Mountain Dew or Cherry Coke? Tony?
Ooh, Mountain Dew.
Dylan?
I'm gonna go Cherry Coke.
Correct answer is Mountain Dew because it goes great with pizza.
Yeah.
And number 5, last but not least, the clear sodas showdown. Sprite or 7-Up? Tony?
I'm a Sprite fan.
Dylan?
Sprite.
I got to go with Sugar Ray Leonard and his son. It's Can it be 7-Up? Okay. So that's it. Correct answer is 7-Up. So this one had a box office budget of $5 million and a box office return of $9.2 million. So, so it was a profitable film. It wasn't a super smash hit, but, made their money back and then some. Almost doubled their money. Opening thoughts. So, Delyn, had you seen this movie before preparing for the podcast in its entirety?
I saw this movie in its entirety once because you forced me to watch it.
Okay. Tony, you've already revealed that you own this on VHS, so we know that you've seen it.
Yeah.
And do you have fond memories of it before the reviewing for today's podcast?
I did. I mean, Sean Penn was awesome in it. Great. Again, a really intense, scared straight kind of feature. You know, it did its job for me back when I was, 13, 14?
Yep.
Said, I don't want to go there.
So I've been a fan of this one since the first time I saw it, which was right around the time it came out. This was right in my wheelhouse in 1983. I mean, I was just about to turn 14. We're smoking cigarettes or being fucking little delinquents. So this was like, for me, I was like, oh yeah. Said it reminded me of movies like Tex, Rumblefish, Outsiders, Over the Edge, but the subject matter was much heavier in this one, and the real world feel for me just took it to a level that I really hadn't seen at that point in my life, except for maybe movies like Taxi Driver and stuff. Did it hold up? Let's find out. So let me give you a synopsis on this one. Chicago crime kid Mick O'Brien is sent to a reform school after accidentally killing a rival's kid brother. There it is. There's your setup. Dylan, you want to break it down?
Very in-depth, funny. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mick O'Brien is a 16-year-old Irish-American hoodlum from Chicago. Mick's crimes include snatching purses, shoplifting, vandalism, and fighting, but he aspires to bigger and meaner things. He subsequently attempts to rip off a Puerto Rican rival, Paco Moreno, but the plan goes awry, leading to Mick's best friend Carl being fatally shot and Mick accidentally running over and killing Paco's 8-year-old brother while making his getaway in a stolen car. So for me, these opening scenes were great because you see exactly who Mick is. You get him ripping off the lady, breaking the car window, taking her purse off the seat, and then smacking the living daylights out of that dude, knocking him out and taking his wallet too, just so he can go buy a gun. I'm like, this is a bad kid.
But that's how it was done. That's how you elevate in the streets as a criminal,
It was tough. I wasn't feeling a lot of sympathy for him at the moment.
I love these players. I love these players. I love Paco. I think this actor is fucking badass in this movie. This kid looks like he could open a can of fucking whoop ass himself. They all could.
See, he looks like it, but then he delivers his lines. I remember him being fucking terrifying. And watching him now, I hated almost every line he delivered. He is the weakest cast member of the entire crew. I even like the little Jewish kid a lot better because he's crazy. The little Jewish kid like flicks a switch and he's insane. But Paco, I felt was just like, oh, I have to go avenge my brother. It's like he just sounded whiny.
I loved him.
And I love the fact that Cameron from fucking Ferris Bueller is in this movie. Like I'm like, holy shit, it's Cameron. It's like, all right, I'll go.
Yeah, great acting.
It's a great cast. But yeah, right off the bat, I'm sitting there going like, wow, I really fucking hate Sean Penn's character. And it made me realize when I was a kid, I'm like, all right, he's a badass. He's cool. He's the one we're going to follow. Now as an adult, I'm the principal in the fucking Breakfast Club. I'm like, you're going to go fucking nowhere. You're a piece of shit who broke into someone's car and stole her fucking purse. And then you beat some innocent guy trying to get the purse. Like, fuck you. You're like a degenerate piece of shit. You deserve to go to prison. Fuck you.
Yeah,
that's why I hated him off the bat. And I didn't keep sympathy for him. Yeah. Even like as he tried to like redeem himself in the boys' prison, you're there for a reason. You're still a piece of shit. You escaped to go see your girlfriend because we'll get to that. But he's just, oh great, you didn't kill somebody. Oh, here's a fucking cookie. Go fuck yourself. You're still a degenerate piece of shit.
Yeah, really, the only person I had sympathy for in this movie, at least at this point, was the 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You feel bad
Yeah.
that he got run over because he's just a kid. He's an innocent, but everybody else
There's
kind of suck.
there's no there's no good guy in this cast. You know, it's just all antagonists, which is great. And that's just one thing I appreciated about this movie that they get wrong in so many movies, like Karate Kid 2. There's no way Daniel's kicking that freaking Asian kid's ass. It's not fucking happening. Like, this kid is the number one student in Okinawa. He's built like a shit brick house. He's fucking kung fu expert, and Daniel beats him up. Like, fuck you. Or
Hey,
Daniel
Daniel
and
had the
Johnny.
drum technique, okay?
Yeah,
that drum
no.
technique came out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, exactly. Only Sato basically invented it and has been teaching it to his student for the last fucking 20 years. No. And I appreciated that Rosenthal was going to match Sean Penn against Isai Morales. These fucking kids match up perfectly. Like, if this is a UFC fight, I don't know who I'm picking. They're both badass looking teenagers. They're ripped. They're the same size. It's anybody's. Anybody could win that fight. And that's important when that is the kettle that is simmering for this entire movie. When you're like, who's gonna win this fight?
Yeah, I'm also gonna say, and I know I'm also jumping ahead a little bit. It took way too fucking long for that to get to that point.
Just stop
my
with that.
God, it took too long.
No.
Get to the point. Get that kid into the detention center. So you start with the bullshit back and forth between the two of them. There was too much happening before that ever got to that point.
We get the origin story between Mick and fucking Paco. You see him in the high school. Fucking, see you later, douchebag. Like, I love this guy because I knew this prick in high school too.
No, but I'm talking about, you have the little bit here when they're kind of antagonistic in outside of the prison. But then there's like a good half an hour when Mick's already gone to prison and he's still out. And of course, I understand what happens with Alice Sheedy is important to what happened in the story, but it's like that could have happened way quicker. There was like 20 minutes of Ali Sheedy walking the mean streets by herself in the dark.
We get a lot of character building there. You know, her father doesn't approve. She's a basic good girl dating the bad kid, you know, trying to make excuses for him. We learned that Paco knows her. They're all kids
I already
that run
knew
in the
Paco
same neighborhood.
knew her. I knew Paco knew her. Like,
you didn't
have to fill it in. There was just too much.
When Mick is in his room at his mom's house, so I don't know, she's dating like Burt Reynolds or something. I don't know, in the bathtub. But you notice,
with a friend.
Yeah, with a friend. I've lots of uncles. So
wow, this is one big therapy session, dude.
so this is your new dad. No, this is your new dad. No, this is my friend. Mick was playing a Fender Stratocaster on his bed. Did you see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Like kind of playing along with Billy Squier, but doesn't know any of the notes. So did you know that is a 1970s American-made Fender Stratocaster with a bullet fucking truss rod? Like, I've got a 76, look just like it. I'm like, damn, that's a nice guitar for Mick. You know, I wonder how many old ladies he had to punch in the face to afford that guitar.
He stole it from somebody.
Totally stole it.
Yeah. The only scene I didn't care for in this beginning was when Paco was meeting the head of the black gang to set up a time to do the to buy, where they're going to buy the suitcase full of drugs, and his gang comes around the corner. I thought that was a little cheesy. Like, don't pull this shit next week. Like, no, that'd be the end of the deal. Like, you're coming here to rob me? Like, we're done. We're done here.
Well, that's what I felt about the whole beginning. It's like, oh, we're going to be rich. Look, suitcase, open it up. Might as well just say drugs.
Right.
It was like, how many different pills, how many different powders? They didn't have it organized.
Yeah.
It's like, and I know that, they're the rookies getting involved in the drug industry, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. But it was so disorganized.
Yeah.
Even myself, as a small little white kid, I could have done a better job brokering this drug deal than like they were in the inner city.
I wish they had picked one drug.
That's the thing. It's like, all right, we're doing a coke deal. All right, we're doing a pills deal. It was just literally suitcase drugs.
Yeah.
In a fucking, like a fucking American Airlines luggage bag.
Yeah.
It's like, American.
What are these? I don't know. These are like fucking Sudafed. What's this over here? Fucking diet
It's like,
pills.
we're going to buy them all from you. Like, you don't know what half of them do. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, no one's doing this deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just, we know where they were looking to get to. I felt like there was so much just like thrown in the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, we see them in high school. And I did appreciate that they did know each other before shit went down. But at the same time, I don't buy Paco and his friends went to high school.
Right.
The fact they were carrying their books like a nerd and like they wouldn't have books. They wouldn't keep.
No.
If you're trying to build a badass gang member, he's not in school. 2, he's not carrying his books back and forth to class. And 3, he's not dressing with those pants and that shirt that he had. Yeah. It's like you just
he wasn't wearing Garanimals.
Well, the only reason I don't have a problem with the drug dealer going to school is because a lot of times they'll go to school just to sell their drugs until they finally get kicked out.
And again, if they presented it differently, I would say I can go with that. I'll ride that wave in.
They should have shown us that.
But they didn't. And all we see is him with 3 books under his arm. Hey, I want to get to know you. And no, you're a douchebag. Yeah. It was like,
there were some really good scenes though, like where he's, they're having sex on the floor to keep it quiet in Allie's room. I mean, this scene seemed very genuine to me. I mean, we've all been in that room on the floor. My mom's going to be home from work soon. We've been there.
And that part I'll go with. I actually like the interaction between him and Allie Sheedy. I bought their relationship. You could tell that he was like way more sensitive with her than anyone else that he interacted with.
Sure.
Because he only spoke 3 lines before this fucking happened.
Right.
And that's the thing. I'm like, how did Sean Penn get so badass from this movie when he like didn't talk? It's all facial expressions.
Yeah.
And again, it's his character, but I don't know. These are the scenes that didn't hold up for me.
Yeah.
Once we get into prison, we'll talk when we get to it. But.
Definitely, this movie definitely starts to come together once we get to the boys' home. Go ahead.
All right. So Mick is convicted and sent to Rainford Juvenile Correctional Facility. Most of the supervisors there have lowered themselves to the role of zookeeper. One exception is the counselor Raymond Herrera, a former gang member. He talks tough to the inmates, but is confident that some of them, especially Mick, can turn their lives around. So we'll pause here for a minute because I really liked this one character, this one adult character I liked. Pretty much the rest of them I kind of thought were like exactly like I just said, like zookeepers. But this guy's like, dude, I've been where you've been. You can come and talk to me. Like, I'm here for you. And it's like somebody's trying to reach out to this kid and be like, hey, what's up? And he actually goes to bat for this kid several times throughout the movie. So I wanted to just pause and give him a second because I thought I liked this character.
Yeah, I also really liked the character of Gene Daniels. I mean, really good. I mean, he just felt like a guy that would work in one of these facilities. He ain't taking no shit.
Is that the bald guy with the mustache?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels. Yeah. He's the one that I like because he was more realistic. He's like, I'm going to keep you fuckers in line. This is how you address me. This is what our point system is. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was it. That's all he had to do. He asserted his dominance. This is what you're going to do. And no one ever messed with him except when he ran away. And he was the first one on him,
I thought they were all great. I mean, even John Zenda. I mean, he's a great actor. You see him in tons of stuff. And, he plays Wagner, the third. And he was great too. I mean, dude, these character actors make like the movie Heat we just did with Mikki and Tony. Too many fucking John Sizemores for that movie to feel real world for me. Tom Sizemore. Like it just felt like, like I was saying, you could see like, oh, we'll dress up Val Kilmer like this and put a little ponytail on. Didn't feel real to me. This felt like 1979, dirty, real. I bought it all. It was Hill Street Blues for me. Like that level of
All right. So Mick's cellmate is Barry Horowitz, a small, intelligent Jewish kid who firebombed a bowling alley after some boys there assaulted him for flirting with their girlfriends. Their cell block is dominated by a pair of brawny sadists named Viking Lofgren and Warren Tweedy Jerome, who take an immediate dislike to Mick. Mick puts up with him at first, but after witnessing Tweedy murdering another inmate who attempted to stab Tweedy in retaliation for raping him, he refuses to be intimidated. Suspecting that Mick may have revealed Tweedy's guilt to the authorities, Tweedy and Viking go to Mick's cell to confront him about this. But Mick, having anticipated their arrival, outsmarts them by beating them up with a pillowcase full of unopened soda cans. This victory earns him the respect of the block and the recognition as the new barn boss. Tweedy is paroled soon after, but is later killed during an attempted robbery at a liquor store. So I just, I know
that's the end of the movie.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So this is out of line. But so you want me to feel bad in that scene where the guy's like, when Viking's like, that was Tweedy, you assholes. It's like, oh, you mean the guy that raped a kid and then threw him off the fucking top rope? I don't feel bad. Sorry.
No.
Don't feel bad. No.
So this opening scene where, O'Brien meets Horowitz. Horowitz is so great. He's the small amount of comedy relief that you need in a movie like this. But this kid is a great actor. And I love all these interactions. Like, first of all, they bring Mick into the fucking the cell block and they tell him no smoking. And he looks around, the camera pans around, and everyone is smoking. I got a little chuckle out of that. Everybody spits in his face. Funny fact is, so Sean Penn wanted everybody to spit on him. And this was like something that he was like, yeah, everybody's give it to me. But Esai Morales, he insisted that every actor brush their teeth and then use mouthwash before the scene. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I probably would have wanted that too.
Because that's more sanitary when you get spit in your mouth, right?
I would rather have spit with like a hint of fucking
scope.
Minty fresh.
Yeah, scope. So I love he gets in there, he plops on the couch, and Horowitz goes, so how do you like it so far? I fucking laugh out loud. This is great. And Tony, you nailed it. This kid Horowitz, he's the most dangerous inmate in there. He's got the highest kill fucking list. He's so dangerous because he's not just gonna, shank you in the ass or, beat you up with a pillowcase full of cans or, whatever it is.
No, he's
when
clever.
He decides when he decides you've made his shit list, he's gonna blow your fucking head off. Period.
Yeah. No, he's super clever. He's super smart.
I mean, the fact that he's when the suppliers of cigarettes come, he's like, give him a carton. You want your radio fixed? Give him the cigarettes. He's like, you show the loyalties are there, and that's what I like. I like the kid. It's like you want to like him, but you realize I can't be friends with this person because one wrong thing, he's going to snap whether you're friends or not. Like we all have known that one kid, like, oh, he's good, but I'm not going to get that close to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect on the block for Horowitz. He gets away with a lot. I mean, even when they're in the first lineup and we're meeting Tweedy and Viking for the first time and kind of getting the backstory when he says to O'Brien, these guys are the barn bosses. These guys, he's a fucking pussy. We're talking about Viking. This guy's a fucking prick, whatever.
Viking hears him.
And he hears me, but he doesn't, but it's not putting a mark on him. They're not coming for him later like they do for the new young black, the new fish that comes in where they're like, Horowitz a little kid, but he's not getting that same because you're going to rape Horowitz and then he's going to kill you and then get out of jail and kill your whole family, you know? And everybody knows that. And even the director, when he's in his office and he grabs the fucking golf club, this kid is a fucking maniac and I love him.
Yeah.
The rape scene, we have to talk about it because so this is where I start getting the feeling that Viking is not the bad guy he is trying to portray. So, and they're going to, this character growth is going to happen throughout the entire movie to the end where he draws the beautiful picture and shows that, he gives a shit about something, even though it's a scumbag friend like Tweedy, he still has that inside him where a lot of these kids are like just dead inside. This rape scene, Viking gives a facial expression. So Tweedy goes into the room, door shuts, and Viking gives a facial expression that is saying, I don't approve. This is wrong. But he doesn't have enough courage or personality to say this is wrong and stand up for the kid. So he's going to be the lookout. And then when the little kid comes out swinging the shank, the look of pain and just horror and desperation on that little kid's face, man, it's almost like you're watching a fucking a camera from inside a jail. Like it was so real. And then, he throws him over and we get a close up on Horowitz's face. We get a close up on O'Brien's face. And this is really good character acting. They're saying a lot without saying a word. I was blown away by this scene. It was very powerful. I mean, did you agree, Tony?
Um, I don't know if I agree it was powerful. It was definitely impactful. To show that obviously even it's not just adult prison; these things happen to, and it's child blocks too.
Yeah.
Number 3 on their list was like no sexual
Harassment.
harassment. So it's
Yeah.
like that was the biggest, your biggest penalty. So I mean, obviously it's something they run into. It's something that goes on. We saw it. I'm glad it wasn't as graphic as it could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. It serves its purpose, and
It
it
raised
shows that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say it raised the stakes for the whole movie. It proves that these aren't just going to be fist fights and black eyes and bloody noses. I mean, if you put your guard down, there's a possibility you could die because these these prison guards or whatever, these house guards, these adults in quotations are not in control of the cell block. The kids are.
They're going to allow things to happen, and then
Yes.
it shows right afterwards. There's no justice because no one's going to tell on anybody. No one's
No.
going to be a rat.
Nope.
They
Right.
pull everybody in one by one, and everyone's like, "I didn't see anything. I didn't see nothing. I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about." So it's like he died in vain.
Yeah. Oh,
Everybody
totally.
knew. Everybody knew who did it.
Yep.
And the funny part is when Mick starts swinging on them and busts their face open, everybody's loving it because they
Loving it.
hate them. Everybody hates the bullies as much as he does.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that because that comes into my final thought on these scenes. So O'Brien gets to take over as barn boss. If O'Brien wasn't such a fucking prick to everybody once he is in charge, maybe he would have had some backup when Paco came. Maybe he would have had control of the fucking the cell block. Maybe fucking what's his name? Peretti would have come to him and been like, "Hey, he's fucking being taken out of here tonight, so just keep it cool and you're going to avoid this problem." But instead, he goes to Paco because fucking O'Brien is taking advantage. He's now giving him 40% of his own fucking business. And this guy's like, "Fuck you, pussy." And he tells Paco first and gives him the heads up. You need to kill O'Brien tonight. And he's also running action on the fight. So he wants this fight to take place. But if fucking O'Brien had just been cool and been like, "Listen, I know you were doing a 40-60 split before, blah, blah, blah. Listen, you're just going to give me and fucking Horowitz cigarettes and I'll take 25%. Dean loves him. Dean loves him. Peretti loves him then. And he doesn't want Paco in this to go down. So that was a character, again, making him an antagonist. There is no protagonist. There is no good guy. There are two sides of a bad coin.
Yeah,
like
it's supposed to
Exactly.
show you there isn't a good guy in this, and the movie is called Bad Boys for a reason because they are
Yeah.
bad boys.
But I like that. It's
See,
very cool.
It bothered me because you're supposed at that point you are supposed to be rooting for him.
Right.
Don't because he's such a prick. You root for him more than Tweety and Viking because again different levels of shit are still
Right.
levels. But I still don't like Mick because he's taking advantage of the system. He's now putting his power into play. He's not being good to anybody except little Horowitz, which you want to see taken care of. But he should have been a better guy, 100%.
Yeah.
As soon as that scene came up, it's like, oh, you were doing this, except now the roles are reversed. It's 60-40 for me instead of you. I was like, we just are not allowed to like him.
But
yeah,
he's
I
going
mean,
to
here's
pay
the
the
thing:
price.
is like you could always say like, oh well, he's trying to rule with the fear the Tweety and Viking did, but dudes, he just beat the bag out of them with a bag full of soda cans. Like everyone's scared. Nobody's crossing you. You're rooming with Horowitz, who will blow your head off. Like nobody is gonna buck that system. If you're a little nice, they're not taking it the wrong way. Because like some people go, oh well, when they do shit like that, then they took it the wrong way. No, not here. They just watched you beat his head off with a bag full of soda cans. Nobody's taking it the wrong way.
Yeah, these two are a different kind of crazy. They're both in there for murder, and fucking that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was good.
In vengeance for his brother's death, Paco attacks and rapes Mick's girlfriend JC, but is caught and arrested. After learning this, Mick is overcome with desire to see JC, so he and Barry escape the double perimeter fences using a pace that weakens the link enough to kick a hole through them. While running through the woods, Barry falls on some barbed wire and is caught by 2 supervisors on the trail. This gives Mick time to get away, but Barry is subsequently beaten by one of the supervisors for escaping. Ramon rightfully believes that Mick will go to JC's house and soon picks him up there. Before returning to Rainford, Ramon takes Mick to a maximum security prison to show him where he could end up if he continues to live the life of a criminal. The rape scene of JC was really well done because just like with the one with the young boy, they don't show you too much. They show you just enough that you know exactly what's happening. And of course, like the makeup that they put on her after was actually,
good.
It was really well done.
Good.
I mean, the thing that was covering her eye, you could kind of tell it was a little prosthetic piece, but it didn't matter because it looked cool. Like it was really well done, especially for making just a beaten up face look right. It was cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't like the rape, but I like the way the prosthetic.
Oh, I love that rape. The way that rape went out.
Great.
God. Must have watched it 10 times.
Oh God, stop.
Box of tissues.
Gross.
So yeah, I mean, a great scene. I actually forgot they were going to kill her,
Oh yeah.
and then the cops actually, like, he had the gun drawn. If he took one more second, she'd be dead. Like, they were legitimately going to kill her in revenge for it, and that was like, I'm not going to say shocking to me, but in a way, it was like, oh my God, they were really going to do that.
Yeah. And this is somebody that he knows that goes to his school, and he's going to kill her. Like, wow,
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I realized that as soon as like she saw your face, he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm like,
Well-
oh.
So
There we go.
I was a little confused by the scene because at first I thought that Paco was doing this and took the mask off because he wanted to get caught, because he wanted to get sent to the reformatory so he could, take out the revenge on Mick. So I thought he was taking the mask off so she could identify him. So he's raping her and he's going to get identified. He's going to get shipped up there. He's going to take Mick out. But then, like you said, that was not the intention. The intention was, we're going to murder her anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, can we talk about the lineup? How she's standing there and they're all looking right at her face? Like,
yeah.
What?
So
no.
Yeah. So, but what I loved about this scene, especially for 1983, was you know how many girls would have been intimidated and just said, no, I'm not saying, I don't see him up there.
Yeah. That's the one who raped me. She said the words. I was like, damn.
Yes.
That was the best acting in the whole thing. Like, that's him. That's him. I'm like, well, just wait a minute. No, that's the one who raped me. It's like,
dude,
ooh, that was
it
like
was so good. And for Rosenthal to have the courage to give us a female character like this in 1983, that is a teenage girl that's just been, brutally raped and literally was, like you said, 1 second away from being murdered by these kids who are still kids and are going to presumably be back in the neighborhood pretty soon. I mean, I thought it showed a lot of courage and I really loved it. And it just made me love this character of JC. And I really thought Ali Sheedy played the fuck out of it. And the rape scene was so psychologically brutal. What they didn't show us, like in the actual rape, they showed us with facial expressions and fear and violence with him punching her in the face. Like, they didn't need to add that, but they did. And it was really powerful. And she really acted to the nines in both of these scenes, in the police station and while being raped. I was blown away by all of this.
Yeah, it's really well done.
The prison. So he takes Penn to the prison. Okay. And all I'm thinking is, leave me here. Leave me here. This looks way safer. I do not want to go back to that other place. Like, Tony, where would you rather spend your time? At that big, nice, clean fucking prison or back in the fucking murder fish tank?
Dude, it's all terrifying to me. Like I said, the idea of going to prison.
Agreed.
Growing up with a dad as a cop, the stories he used to tell me young enough to scare the shit out of me worked.
Right.
And I to this day, I just never want to go to prison.
Yeah, well, The fact of the matter is I've never been arrested. Zero. I have no interaction with police, and there's a reason, because I'm not built for fucking incarceration either. So I have no criminal record at all, and I plan on going to my grave with that
Seriously.
stat. Okay.
Yeah, we see a cop when we're driving, and he's like, "Be cool," and I'm like, I'm literally going 35 miles an hour.
Dude, when I'm driving, there's a cop behind me. My fucking leg turns to wood. Like I can't drive. I'm like immediately drunk. Like,
I'm just gonna pull over. Yeah,
pretty much.
You go, sir.
Oh, I'm so bad.
I hated the unrealistic. I'm gonna go and sneak into this caged area in a monitored shop area of this high maximum security prison area and get a corrosive material to safely put in a jar, hide with me, put it on a brush,
Yes.
lightly drag it, not even scoop it, lightly drag it up and down, and it's going to work.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Give me something else. Get a wire cutter, sneak one of those things out, give me something more. I like the idea. Terrible execution.
Listen,
Also, like,
I'm with you.
In what place are they having them jog in between the fences? Like, the whole point is like that's supposed to be security, right?
That's prison. That's a prison.
Between the two fences?
Yes. 100%.
It seems like you'd want to always keep two fences between them and freedom.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, these are kids.
I mean,
Tony,
you've never been in prison, so you don't know.
No. Tony, I went to the little green house for 3 months until they realized that these children were going to kill me if they didn't remove me immediately. Like, this kid is not up to snuff for this building. Get him out of here. I'm with you though, Tony, 100%. When Horowitz goes down with the sprained ankle, there's no way this guy isn't going to see him pull that bottle out, brush it on the fence. He's not putting enough on it to corrode the fence. I didn't really care for the escape scene. I didn't care for any of this. It didn't need to be in the movie. Could have just cut it out.
Well, it gave us the crying that Sean Penn didn't do in prison. It showed that that's where his emotions were with her.
But I wish they had fucking just saved it, because we get the setup in Ramon's office where he tells him about the rape, and he says, "How do you feel?" And Sean Penn says, "I want to cry." And he says, "Well, it's okay to cry." And Penn's like, "I'm not going to cry." And that's it. There's your setup. Okay. And then we get the cry.
They couldn't have allowed a visit.
Yes. It
would have cut 20 minutes out of the movie if they got all of it. Have her visit after the rape. You know, in this special situation, because of what happened, we're going to allow a quick visit. He sees her, breaks down the office. And that would have actually been better if other people saw him walking by or mopping, if Tweety or whoever was still there was still there, seeing him, mopping and looking in, seeing him breaking down. It's like, I think he's going soft, man. I think he's going soft.
Yep. I love it. There's a rewrite right there that's going to make this movie shorter, leaner, and better. I did not have a problem with Horowitz stealing the whatever the product was. Yeah. Because didn't he also use it to make the bomb in the radio?
No, he stole fertilizer.
Oh, fertilizer. Okay, so I wish
that's a whole different thing. Yeah.
And I wish that was the only thing that he got his hands on, and we didn't get the corrosive scene. I just wish they had just confined that to the fertilizer. I really liked it because it showed how this kid's mind worked and why he was dangerous, because he was so much smarter than the rest of the kids there.
And obviously the adults who couldn't give a fuck to watch, because that was the third thing stolen. That became dangerous. Between Izai taking up at the fire, taking the big pole he made the shank out of, you get Horowitz stealing two different things. And again, the one you should be watching the most with household items, and no one's watching.
Yeah, I wish they had taken out the knife that the little kid had. I wish they had taken out the corrosive material, and I wish it had just, because I was fine with Paco finding the nail in the soot of the outside fire where they were burning trash. I was fine with that. That's how I feel like perhaps a shank would be made in prison. Somebody finds a nail on the floor. Somebody, whatever it is.
But that's why they're frisked when they come in.
Right.
You're stripped down and frisked when you come in from work duty.
But it's a nail. I mean, it's a nail. You could
It's
hide a nail.
Dude, you could put up Christ with that nail. That thing was huge. You kidding me? Wasn't a
Mark that.
fucking nail.
Mark that. Delin, mark that. That's the intro. Oh shit, that shit's funny. Yeah, but you had to have the manure. Without the manure was just, for me, that was beautiful. And again, it shows that Horowitz is smarter than Ramon, Wagner, or Gene. These guys wouldn't even know that fucking the fertilizer was even dangerous because they're dumb.
Also, while we're talking about how smart he is, can we talk about the scene with him hiding stuff in the wall?
So
and
good.
using the mouse trap so that the guy gets his finger and stops touching it. But it's like, wouldn't that tip you off that something was going on there? No.
It's comic relief. It's comic relief. And these guys are straddling Rosenthal was straddling the line between a movie like Bad Boys or Tex, like I said, where you're just going to suspend your reality completely. You're watching the movie. It's fun. He is trying to do something more here, but he's also going to lean back on, a little comic relief, we're going to have a little fun here. These guards are Keystone Cops. The kids are having a laugh at their expense. And I actually needed it. When he snapped that and it shows Horowitz's face and he's smiling, I liked it. It worked
that
for
little
me.
bit of comic relief.
Yeah.
It was, but at the same time, I would have liked it brought back to reality when the cop finished the room. He came out and backhanded him.
Well, he beats the fucking bag out of him when he gets a chance. So they do give you a callback. They give you a callback on that.
True enough.
But you're right. I just feel that it lightened the scene too much, which is where I have a problem with this. The guards are made to be secondary comic relief with them. They're not effective. They're not doing any of their jobs they should be doing. And again, this is just, if you want to make this realistic, make it fucking realistic. Make it a documentary style. And that's where, when you're looking at Sean Penn, when you look at the inmates, it feels documentary style. As soon as the fucking adults get involved, it feels like a variety show.
Yeah.
And that's what bothered me.
I liked the casting of Moody. I liked him being muscle bound. I liked it. Morales kind of was a grown up version of Paco. Like, it felt like these were grown ups that had kind of been through the system themselves. And I was buying it. And it's funny you said documentary, because that's what I was talking about, having two antagonists in Mick O'Brien and Paco. Is I felt more like I was watching like an episode of Cops or like a reality prison show, where I wasn't really invested in the characters. Like, oh, I want him to win or I want him to win. I was just watching, like, what are they going to do next? Like, what the fuck? These people are insane.
And I know we haven't gotten there yet, but no fucking way a court is going to say, well, we have no room anywhere else. Put him in the same place that he killed his brother. That will never. No, dude, it's not going to happen.
And not only that, let's make him roommates with his arch rival that he just beat up with a pillowcase.
It's just, again, moving. I understand we need to move the story forward. We need to put it together. I get it.
Yeah, you fucking sneeze. You sneeze in that place, and they're like, "We're gonna put you in solitary confinement for the last 4 months of your sentence." But fucking Renee went to fucking CJ's house. He saw how badly she was raped by Paco Morano, and Paco shows up, and the guy isn't like, maybe we should put this guy in solitary for a few days and see if something opens up at the other place. No, he's like, let's team him up with fucking Viking and see what happens.
It's just, and
it's horse shit. It's fucking horse shit.
Like I said, the first half, I get it. Second half, it bugged me. I mean, I was on for the ride because I love the acting, love the story, but in realistic sense, where they tried to make it a realistic, it didn't. It's a movie. I get it. I'm overreacting as it is a fucking movie, and we'd have no movie without the conflict. Write a reason, not just there's nowhere else for him to go. Fuck you, that's a terrible reason.
Yeah, Tony, it was absurd. It was absurd. First of all, if that's the only cell block in this kid's prison, then why market cell block C? It would just be cell block. So we're to believe that there are other cell blocks in this facility.
Move Steve from B over here and put Paco over there. That's what I'm saying. It would be better if he wasn't a different part of it and found a way to keep interacting in the yard, keep messing with them off shifts, and just make it that way. Don't have them literally across the fucking hall.
Or at the very least, can we make it so these fucking cell doors lock at night? And then maybe Paco like puts the bar in there and keeps the door from shutting. I mean, dude, you have to give me something. You can't just say, yeah, no. Hey, we're gonna move fucking Horowitz over to fucking Viking sale, and we're gonna put Paco in with Mick. No.
Let's just get it over with. Yeah.
Let's just get it over with. Give them both a nail and let's see what happens.
2 men enter, 1 man leave. There you go.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. There we go. Thunderdome.
All right. Moving on.
All right. After being convicted of the rape on JC, Paco is sentenced, and despite the dormitory trying to refuse him, they have to take him and wait for a transfer to come through. The staff are fully aware of this potential danger, because of course, but no other reform school has a vacancy. Paco attempts to so not another single school in the area has a vacancy. Like, that's how many bad kids? Okay. Paco attempts to provoke
Chicago.
Mick yeah, I suppose.
We just lost our listeners in Chicago.
The half listener in Chicago. Paco attempts to provoke Mick into a fight, but Mick avoids the confrontation since he may qualify for early release if he stays out of trouble. However, he also loses the respect of many of the inmates who now want to see Paco put Mick away. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough here because he had so much respect and he's losing it quickly because he's refusing to get involved here, you know? And I understand why, but
all the other inmates can see that Paco was a badass. He comes in there fucking cruising. He's fucking, he's ready to whoop O'Brien's ass. O'Brien's being a bitch. I'm going to get out on good behavior. It's like, dude, you're the barn boss. You killed this guy's brother. He's here. You have to deal with this right now. Period. Yeah. You're not going to be able to cruise your way through the rest of your sentence without dealing with Paco. Guys are fucking roommates in a fucking 30 by 30 fucking cell block. This is happening no matter what you do. He would have to hit first. Strike hard, strike fast, no mercy, as we learned.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Yes, Sensei. Get him a body bag. Yeah.
Get him a body bag. Fuck, man. Fucking, they show one scene. O'Brien is like smoking and drinking a Mountain Dew while Paco was like doing curls on the bench and he's fucking like ripped to shreds. I'm like, I'm going with Paco here. If I was a betting man, I'd be betting on Paco. But if I was a betting man, I'd be betting on fucking Horowitz, honestly.
Right.
Seriously.
Honestly, though, I think he'd come out on top there.
Yeah. And it also seemed to me like fucking what's his face? Ramon heard fucking or saw Peretti overhear the conversation on the stairwell. Like he knows fucking Peretti overheard it. How could he not? I didn't get that.
I don't know.
Like he didn't take him aside, like keep your fucking mouth shut.
And he wouldn't anyways. So, okay. So speaking of Horowitz, in an attempt to retaliate on Mick's behalf, Barry creates a bomb by planting fertilizer in a radio that he places in the cell that Viking and Paco share. When the charge explodes prematurely and only Viking is injured, Barry is condemned to solitary confinement for the remainder of his sentence, a fate he fears more than any other. I love this. I'm sorry. It's fucking amazing. He's so dangerous.
I love it.
Just you can't mess with this kid, and it's
the radio poofs out. His look of defeat, like, oh, it's fucked up. It didn't work, and then explodes on him. It's like I love the fact it failed, and it showed like he was angry about it.
Yeah.
And then it just happens. And he was like, oh, all right, I'm pretty good.
He's like, okay. Yeah. He's like, I might not have gotten Paco too, but that's okay. I'll take it.
It's a fucking great scene because he says, Mick, you got to do something about this. You got to handle this. And O'Brien's like, I'm not going to do shit. And he's like, all right, I'll take care of it. And that's it. And his fucking solution is he's going to blow them up. I fucking love this.
Hey.
And, you know,
although I am a little disappointed that it means that he's out of the movie for the rest of the movie. Like, I really wish that he had been there for that final scene.
Yes, me too. But yeah, this fucking scene with Viking is fucking dynamite, man. Anybody knows Raiders says, no, it's mine now. And he's dancing and twirling. And when he gives it that shake and he comes out of that fucking room and is laying there, the blood all over his head has been blown apart. It's fucking awesome.
That's what you get, Kurt.
Seriously,
get
fuck
Kurgan.
you.
Kurgan.
Yeah, fuck you. And
There can be only one.
And you fucking nailed it, Dylan. Why does anybody give a fuck that Tweety died? He's a rapist, bully, asshole who's been torturing these people, presumably for at least a year or two. Nobody would give a fuck. That was Tweety, you assholes. Yay. Yay. Good. I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah,
Fuck
like I
him.
felt no anything. Now, if they had released somebody that seemed like a nice kid and that had happened, I would have felt it. But for Tweety, no, he fucking raped and murdered a kid in the first like 5 minutes of us being at the reformatory.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, and this isn't the first questionable thing Tweety has done
No.
since he's been there.
No.
Yeah, his pee-pee smells like poop. He's a bad man.
Oh my god.
He's a bad man.
If the nail comment didn't do it, that's the opening of the show. His pee smells like poop.
That might be too much.
I think it's too much.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Paco learns he's being transferred to another facility the next day, so he decides to kill Mick that night. While Ramon is on night watch, Paco fakes a ruptured appendix, knocks Ramon unconscious, and locks him in the office. Paco then goes to Mick's cell to stab him with a shiv, but Mick gets the jump on Paco. However, and they start fighting. The other inmates are awakened by the brawl, and some barricade the door to the dormitory to prevent the authorities from interfering. Eventually, Mick gains the upper hand on Paco and prepares to deliver a fatal stab wound with the shiv, while being encouraged by the others to kill. However, he resists at the last second, instead stabbing the floor mat next to Paco's head. Mick then drags a beaten Paco to the supervisors and head back to his cell, crying remorsefully under his breath, as he knows that, although Paco will be transferred out of Rainford, his fighting with him has added time to his sentence. This is a really long fight scene.
It is.
Like, it goes
It's
on
a long fight
and
scene that
on.
nothing happens in.
Yeah, but
I
it's
remember this.
long.
I remember this being brutal. I remember, like, I have like Rocky memories in my head. Like they're going back and forth, and there's literally only like 4 hits, and the rest is struggling for the shiv on the floor.
Yeah, and
It's
there's a lot of
reaching
circles with their hands up. Like there's
But
a lot of spinning around.
What I did like about the scene, though, is it's probably closer to reality. What two kids that really, they're not trained in fighting. They're just thugs. They're bullies. Presumably, they are not like, fighting on the reg in showdown fights like this. It's kind of like what I would imagine two 19-year-old kids fighting would look like with a group of, hyenas around them. I have so many problems going from this part of the movie to the end. Like, first of all, why aren't they putting Paco in solitary for this last night? Like, listen, we made it this far. We've avoided trouble, even though we've basically done everything we can to make this fight happen. It hasn't happened yet. Why don't we just put Paco in fucking solitary tonight? I mean, we're moving him in the morning.
Because they all have money riding on it, of course.
Even the fucking guards. Yes. I think even...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that fucking... Ramon is running the pool for the guards. But yeah, so that's a super problem. Especially since like I said, he knows that Freddie overheard him on the stairwell. He knows he has to put Paco in fucking solitary. I love that O'Brien knows that Paco was coming for him. This is great. And we're going to get O'Brien burning the picture of CJ, which is a symbol of him saying, I know this is going to be a fight to the death, so I'm either going to die fighting Paco, he's going to kill me, or I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to prison as a result, and I pretty much, no matter what the result is, I'm going to lose CJ. So he burns the picture saying, this is it, I've lost her. But why doesn't he get some fucking Coke cans and put them in the pillowcase? He gets the jump on Paco. Paco comes in, he sees the bed with the pillows under the blankets. He thinks it's Mick sleeping. Mick jumps him. If he's got a pillowcase with 5 Coke cans, he is literally fucking lights out. 2-3 shots, Paco's out, and he wins. I don't understand why he didn't use it. Tony, why?
Because that was the first time we saw it was the big battle scene. We don't need it again. We needed hand-to-hand combat. And again, to move the story along. You're 100% right. Realistically, that should have fucking happened. And it should have gotten more brutal from that point on. To the point where even if, they showed Paco had soda in his fucking bed. He's rinsing his face with soda, getting ready for the fight because,
Dude,
7-Up is going to jack him up for this fucking fight. And it's like, he should have been ready for it. Even if they could have showed him patting his back with like newspapers or something, expecting something to happen. Seriously, like, they have phone books that would keep people from getting shivved in prison. That's what they did. When you knew someone was out for you, you would put something there to protect yourself as much as possible. He walked into a fucking wife beater, and that was it. Like, this is just,
dude,
it wasn't.
I just had the best vision in my mind. Remember the fucking sledgehammer fight in Streets of Fire?
No, I don't. I blocked it out.
How great would it have been if fucking Paco had gone into O'Brien's, if Paco had a pillowcase full of Coke cans and O'Brien was waiting with a pillowcase full of Coke cans, and we had to fight with them both with pillowcases full of Coke cans, like the sledgehammer fight from fucking Streets of Fire.
I mean, okay, so you made a point though, because he fucking whooped ass with that tactic.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you do it again? It would have been better if they show him go to get some Coke cans and the machine's out of order. And then he's like, fuck, now I have to find some other way to do this.
Or if they show Paco drinking one going, sorry, none left.
Right. I bought the last three.
Yeah, because somebody told him. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he puts some dollar bills in the machine and then hits the change thing and then puts the change in his sock. Use a little fucking
something. Make it. That first time he did that was so badass. He has to have other techniques.
Yes.
Instead of just the element of surprise. You know, so it's.
But I did like that. I did like that O'Brien gets to jump on him, shows that he is smarter than Paco. And he lands some good shots. Like at first, you're like, oh shit, he's gonna get him. He's gonna get him. But Paco's a man. Paco takes those shots, no problem. And Mick just grinds him out. Mick just outlasts him in this fight. And I like that. Mick is durable, the character.
He took 2 stabs. He took one to the shoulder and one to the leg.
Dude,
and kept fighting. Come on.
Somebody stabs me twice with a rusty nail shiv, and I'm like, you win. You win.
After the first one, I would have been out. All right, do it.
Dude, he comes at me with a rusty shiv, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Can't we just be friends? Okay. So that's it. I mean, fight scene was great. I did love at the end that finally we see Mick break down. He's crying / laughing, but I watched the end of this literally 5 times. So this fade out scene that I have no idea why it even existed. So O'Brien's going to walk back to his cell and go back to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this kid's been stabbed a couple of times.
Yeah.
They show the other guard pick Paco up and take him over to like the ping pong table and like put him on the ping pong table, like presumably again stabbed and beaten, and they both need to go to a hospital at this point. But nope, that's not what we're gonna get. We're gonna get fucking Jim Moody say, "All right, everybody, nothing left to see here. Everybody go back to bed. Everybody back to bed. Paco, you sleep over there on the ping pong table. Mick, you just, go in your cell, bleed to death. It's fine. We're going to bring Renee.
No one's pushing anybody anywhere. It's like, where are the riot guards? Where are the ones with the shields? It's like pushing everybody back in the cells. You fuckers are going down.
Shutting the lights off. Shutting the lights off. Then they relock the place. And then Mick goes after Paco again when he wakes up in the fight. No, all the lights are going on. Like you said, there's 10 more guards rushing in there. Statements are being taken. The fucking Renee has been fucking beaten, brutally beaten with a pipe. I mean, no, this isn't going to be lights out. Everybody go to sleep. We'll have pudding in the morning. Fuck that. Problems with this
pudding.
All right. So that's it. Tony, anything else you want to say about this movie?
No, like I said, I said in the beginning, my biggest problem was it wanted to be realistic. It just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It kept taking the storyline. The storyline advancement took precedence over the realistic aspect they were going for.
Yeah. I think this movie could be edited down into something that felt realer. I think there was enough material there to give me the movie we're talking about. And they didn't trim it down enough. They left too much in there. This thing should have ended. This thing should have ended. All right, Tony, we do this every week now. We never even wrote this part of the show, but we're going to anyway. Tell me what you think of this. So kill. And O'Brien jams the fucking knife down and it goes to black. Did he kill him? Didn't he kill him?
Don't do that. Don't Sopranos me. I'll fucking hate it forever. I have not forgiven The Sopranos.
Okay.
I will never forgive The Sopranos. Fuck The Sopranos. Fuck the writer. Fuck Tony Soprano was great. Fuck all of that shit. You give me an ending. You do not take the lazy way out. I don't want to make up my own thing. I don't get paid to write my own movies. I want you to write it for me and make it good.
All right, give me an end then.
Realistic ending?
Yeah, better. Just a good ending.
Fight happens for kill. He does the same thing. Same time. Everybody freezes. Fuck you. As soon as he goes up, the cops come through. They tase O'Brien.
There's no tasers.
All right, then you know what? They start clubbing him to death. Because I'm sorry. They start beating him to get him off him, and they accidentally kill him. That's the tragic ending. Is he dies trying to do the right thing.
Interesting.
He's like this. He's like, I'm not going to do it. And everyone around, even if you had Paco look up, do it. You're a pussy. Do it. Kill me. Be a man you want to be. I'm not going to kill you. And all of a sudden, the billy club in the back of the head knocks him out. He starts seizuring. They continue to beat him. Everybody drops to silence. The riot guards are kicking the shit out of O'Brien. Paco's laying there in the pool of his own blood. They're like, you're killing him. The guy for locked in the cage who got hit with the pipe. You're killing him. Stop. Too late. They cut back to him. He's motionless.
Tony, let me elaborate on that. So he brings the knife, he brings the shiv up, and he jams it down as the guards are screaming, freeze. We see that he stuck it into the floor, not Paco, but the guard takes the shot and kills kills him.
I thought that too, but they wouldn't have guns in a youth facility. That was my first thought, actually, but they wouldn't. They would have bats, they would have batons, they would have something non-lethal.
All right, then he whacks him in the head, like you said, and accidentally kills him. But then we realized that he was not going to stab him. He didn't. Yeah, I like
he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's cool. Yep.
Dylan, you got anything? I just want to be done with this.
The best part of this movie is that fucking Ali Sheedy presumably moves on with her life and like dates a college guy and fucking, or maybe never dates again.
No, she gets sat into detention. She meets up with Molly Ringwald and Emilio Estevez, and she becomes a weirdo in high school. That's all.
I love it.
And then gets the worst makeover ever.
That's great. Yep. But so, yeah, okay. John Bender, he was part of fucking Mick's gang. All right, let's fucking do this. Let's recast it. So, I am going to replace Sean Penn with Rusty James, the exact character that Matt Dillon plays in Rumblefish. Rusty James. Imagine some of these line deliveries you would get. Paco says he's going to kill you. Yeah, that's what he says. Can you imagine fucking Matt Dillon giving you that line in that Rusty James voice? I think I would take the regression in the realism to have Sean Penn with a bunch of dialogue that we didn't get from Sean Penn. Matt Dillon delivering some really over-the-top, tough Matt Dillon lines. That's mine.
Okay.
All right. Dillon, you go.
No, Tony? You don't like Matt Dillon here?
No. Matt Dillon's... It's hard to deny because he was of that era. My Bodyguard, Tex, the whole thing.
Moody.
He was the fucking Moody. He was the star of that genre. He was the badass. Do it for Johnny, man. I gotta do it for Johnny. I can't argue. That's a perfect one. I didn't go that route.
And with that black leather wrist strap he used to wear, like he could have used that to block the knife, the nail. I'm all in on that. Okay, Dylan, go ahead, recast it.
So I recast Paco because every single time I look at him, he looks like an actor. He looks like Wilmer Valderrama from the 70s show, the guy that played Fez.
Okay, yeah.
Oh
okay.
my God. He looks so much like him. All I could see was Fez, and I kept waiting for the guy to talk and sound like Fez. So I'm going to recast him with him.
With Ralph Macchio? You're going to put Ralph Macchio in there? Dude, no. What's that guy's name that was in Heat? The Mexican actor with the tattoos all over him. He's
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, they should have had like a 40-year-old Danny Trejo as fucking Paco.
Paco.
Oh shit!
His 8-year-old brother.
His 8-year-old brother. Tony, go ahead. Recast
All I
it.
kept thinking was James Olmos. Oh, these kids, you know, it's like
Yeah.
it's all we need to stand and deliver. I sat with this for a while. Like, all right, they're gonna ask me to recast this, and like, I can't because I love this cast as much as I have issues with all of it. It's like no one can replace Sean Penn, no one can replace Paco because that's who it's ingrained. But so I went a totally different. Like, all right, it would be really fun. It's like it's a whole movie full of kids. What's another movie full of kids? All right, I'm going to take the cast of Harry Potter and I'm going to work some of these kids
Oh
into this
no.
fucking movie. So
Oh,
I mean, the obvious one was to go Snape, not Snape. It was to go Draco is going to be Sean Penn,
oh,
but
Okay.
he's
shit.
not good enough. So I went Seamus. Seamus is going to be Sean Penn because he always has an attitude. Always had an attitude. Paco is going to be Dursley. He's going to be
Okay.
big fat. No, I'm sorry. I had him as Viking. I had him as Viking because he's dumb, doesn't follows orders, he doesn't know what's going on. Obviously, Hermione is going to be Ali Sheedy, and I couldn't come up with a good Paco. So it's like I was just literally just picking and like it would be kind of cool to see who's the bucktooth kid who got really handsome
Neville.
be bad. Neville. I want to see Neville turn in a bad performer. Like I want to be a bad guy. So I didn't have anything good, but it's like I sat there for all night. I'm like, well, who Harry Potter could do this? That would be good. So no, I sucked.
Pretty funny.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to see that movie. Okay,
No,
let's
I didn't
do
either.
some. I never saw Harry Potter. I never had any interest.
He was
You've
not a
never
Harry
seen
Potter
Harry
person.
Potter?
It's
Not a
not his
second.
thing.
Oh, there's
Not a
so
second
much
of
fun.
it. Not a
All
second of it. Final thoughts and rewatch score. So this movie for me, again, it all comes down to the wardrobe, the character actors, the supporting actors. It's just really cool. Story's edgy. Set designs are good. This movie is gritty. It's an early 80s classic, captures that feel. I just really liked it. It's great. So for me, this is like, it's got to be like a 4.82. I mean, I've seen it 150,000 times, so the rewatch score must be high. So there it is. That's my rewatch score. Tony, what you got?
I'm gonna ruin this for you. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I am too, so it's okay.
This
I'm
movie,
going 5.
this movie lives in nostalgia. The nostalgia of this movie when I saw it as a kid, and the times I watched it on cable so many times. Of course, I love it. It's a great movie. Sean Penn, again, outside of Spicoli, this is a career-defining performance for him, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
You know, you think Bad Boys and you think Fast Times. Outside of La Bamba, I don't know Isai Morales and anything else. Those are the two that I know him from. And this one obviously was first. It's violent. You got Kurgan, you got your Horowitz, it's a good movie. I enjoy it. I enjoy sitting through it, rewatching it, pointing out studying it, looking at everything. It fell apart. It didn't hold up to what my 15-year-old memories of terror should be. So I have to go like maybe 2.7. A little above half.
I agree with everything you said. I do, but you know, I can look the other way for all those mistakes because it's just such a gritty, fucking, dirty fucking movie.
Now, if we're talking
Risky.
River's Edge, that's a whole different.
Yeah,
I
that's
literally
different.
can't watch that. I can't watch that anymore. It just makes me feel like shitty inside.
And that's what I wanted this to do. You're in a detention center for kids. I want to feel dirty. I want to feel bad watching these kids battle for the ladder of
Like,
I'm losing
like
my
the
words here.
hierarchy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I could not think. I was trying to. Yeah, battle for position in this kid's quote prison, and
Yeah.
it was so Hollywood by the end of it. It took me out of the struggle of it, and that's what
Agreed.
bothered me. But yeah, River's Edge was Hollywood, but was dirty, was grimy, was cloudy. Everybody made a bad decision. There was no likable characters, but it made me want to continue to watch to go, maybe someone's redeeming. And then there's Keanu, who made me have the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, the problem
In
with
that
that
movie,
movie is that is Bill or Ted. I mean, it just is. It's the character right out of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It kind of just didn't work for me. I would recast Keanu in that movie 100% with somebody better.
I can't argue that because it's been a while since I've seen it, but I can see your point. Glenn, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off with that. But
No, that's okay. All right, so let's see. So for me, this, like I said earlier, it gave me after school special vibes. Um, I I liked it, but I'm never gonna watch this again ever. So I gave it a 2.299, and I only scored it as high as I did because I do appreciate some of the acting in that. Um, I appreciate. I really feel like it needed some serious editing that they didn't do.
Big time.
Like there's like I said, there's like 15 minutes of Ali Sheedy walking the mean streets of Chicago. We don't need it. We just don't
No.
need it. Um, Also, I'd like to point out that this is the second movie in a row with Tony that the opening shot was an elevated train, because it was an elevated train in Warriors too.
The Warriors
Yeah.
to this, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Are we just doing elevated train movies now?
Dude, I feel like Ali Sheedy, CJ should have probably gone back into the Walgreens when she saw Paco and his friend with ski masks and switchblades.
I mean,
I don't think,
right?
like, I'm going to walk down this dark alley under this train.
Well, so she comes out of the store, she passes by him, he gives her the meh, so she knows that he's looking at her, and she gets on the train. Well,
Yeah.
he knows where she's going. He knows
Yeah.
her neighborhood. So he basically gets into the car and follows the train. And then
she's
like-
a criminal. She wanted it. No, I'm
Oh,
joking. I'm
don't
joking.
even go
I'm joking.
there.
I'm joking. I'm
Jesus
joking.
Christ. I have to kill
I'm
you.
fucking totally joking.
Oh my
The
Totally
God.
letters
Okay.
are coming in.
So
Totally joking.
when we add this all together, it comes out to 3.273. And
Perfect.
that falls at number 46, which is right below Halloween and right above Videodrome.
I feel that's too high. But can't argue numbers.
I feel like that's pretty good. I mean, it's a little better than average, which this movie is.
Yeah, so I mean, like, for instance, 43 is The Mist, 44 is Air Force One, 45 is Halloween, 46 is Bad Boys, 47 is Videodrome, 48 is Don't Look Up, and 49 is Heat, and 50 is Trick or Treat. So, I mean, that's about where we're at.
I think this is an easier watch than Videodrome. Videodrome started to feel like a bit of a grind for me
It did.
to watch by the end. I was
It
like,
did.
okay, oof. But
And this did
that's
better than
fine.
it. So there you go, by a couple
I'm
points.
fine. I'm fine with that. All right, Tony. So when you come back, are we going to do Evil Dead,
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead? And
Yep,
you want to
remake.
do the remake? Okay, awesome. So
Yeah.
that is what we will be doing for the next Tony's Tales of Terror, which
Yeah.
I have made a little less terrifying because I just can't watch slasher movies, as you've probably noticed. But I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep the movies interesting for Tony. Trying to pick things I know he'll enjoy without giving me nightmares. So
I'm telling
there
you,
go.
I'm gonna make you watch Hell House sooner than later.
Hell House.
It stars this guy.
Oh, how do you sleep at night? Holy shit! Oh
He's
fuck!
awesome. That was my,
We had-
that was
in
my
my
Christmas
house.
present.
So I bought
I would actually really like to do Midsommar with you at some point too. I enjoy A24
Oh.
movies, so I would like to do
Yes, I
one or
would
two
love
of
that.
those.
Dude, I bought a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practice dummy, so it's a life-size dummy, like completely. And
Yeah.
you
But it
can
has no
practice
face.
on-
There's no face on it. It's just a black,
Yeah, it's a
a black
bullseye.
head
Ooh.
with a bullseye. So it's creepy as hell.
But it's great because it's got the limbs, it's got everything, and you can practice all your submissions on it and all of that. But I was leaving it down in the living room, just sitting in the chair, and both of us kept getting scared at night. We go down and be like there's a dude sitting in the fucking. So now it has to sit in the closet in the living room, and you've got Terrifier like next to your
Well,
bed.
Well, that's what it's my downstairs office, and the
Holy
best part,
shit.
my son won't come down. He's like, you have to get a door because when you come down the stairs, this is what you see.
Let's see.
No.
Oh, fuck that.
No.
That would, if I was fucking 8 years old, that would keep me out of Dad's office. Fuck that. That's fucking
Oh,
awesome,
my
man.
God.
That's awesome. I love his commitment to horror. That's fucking great. This week on Breaking Vinyl, we broke down Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. Go check that out. We will be back next week with Pat, where we will be breaking down Grandma's Boy. And for this episode, we will all be taking extra edibles because, as you know, it's a movie based on
Starters.
marijuana. Yeah. Where do you get your weed? From you, Mr. Cheezel. Oh, yeah. Hey, Dante. Okay. All right, guys. So till next time, I just have one question for you. Hey, did you ever see that movie? See you next time.